It's an honor and a, a pleasure to be here in the capacity of, in the spirit of exchange. My career over the past 35, 36 years or so has been in theater, film, and television. And so it is an honor to be here to share my experience and help to train up and coming creatives, theater professionals, film and television creatives, film and television creatives, theater creatives, and to provide a space in which primarily actors can train and hone in on their craft and continue to grow. And then also it's exciting to think about partnering with this university for helping students develop the voice in which they can confidently tell their stories, because people ask me sometimes how can we make our films, put them on the map, make Hollywood take note, and my answer is always you have to make your own work. And so in making your own work, how do you do that without feeling self-conscious or without with a certain amount of freedom? And so I'm yet gleefully figuring out my role and figuring out how I can fit into as many spaces as I can to aid the collaboration with these four fronts. And I'm delighted to be a part of the Yora Summit, and having the arts represented in a conference that is talking about business and commerce and building unicorn businesses and just new pathways forward for growth for us all. So I'm really excited about my little lane in all of this, but it's very specific, and I look forward to how this manifests. This half an hour ago, we were sitting around and we were brainstorming and we were talking, and something that came up was this idea of a short or a film festival that is shot from phones. And we were also talking about students being able to tell their stories, medical students, nurses, doctors, about their experience with treating mental illness and as well as physical illness, and having that go into a system of archival nature, where people are sort of tracing their family roots. If you look at, there was a conversation about survival of COVID and how, per capita, maybe Kenyans didn't get as many people died as say, and why is that? And just to really start unearthing, questions and creating dialogue through the idea of a short documentary that is accessible with, so we're just brainstorming about possibilities and how we could do that. So that's a great question. Right now, I think we're just in this really open phase about how we can get students to tell their stories, specifically related to health issues. And then I was thinking, okay, so we do that, and then we curate a film festival of these short films made entirely from mobile phones, because it's accessible, it's easy, and for those two reasons, and then I just this in the 20 minutes, 30 minutes we were talking, those things, those different components came up. So I feel like the possibilities are pretty endless, and very exciting. So and in order to, and how I could help that is shaping that is, I have a filmmaking background, an acting background, and I work with a lot of people who are very shy and don't in public speaking, and there's a way to eradicate all of that and have some clear storytelling. So just that blueprint alone, I think we'd have something phenomenal on our hands.
That's actually, you're answering the next question.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to look at it the point of view where you have these individuals who are shy in expressing their views, but they really want to partake in such kind of activities.
Yeah.
So just mention a little bit of it, but then I wanted to know how best are you going to incorporate that, or how are you going to maneuver around it?
Well, you should come and have a look in one of our classes, and you'll see. Like, you know, my one of the things I emphasize is we cannot be afraid to make a fool out of ourselves, but because we're in a safe space. You know what I mean? So the class that I'm planning to do today will hopefully break down a lot of barriers and of self-consciousness. You know, because if you do that within a space in the confines of a safe space where the outside world is not judging you and you can let go, that's a huge part of it. I spent 2 years of a 3-year program studying clown, and a lot of it has to do with just accessing our innocence and our inside, like our sort of pre-know spaces of like 5-6-year-old, you know. So just really allowing grown-up people to access their childhood away, whether it's traumatic or it's comedic. But it primarily is it's excising a lot of the self-consciousness out of the conversation, and knowing that it's okay to feel silly and fail, and you know, feel self-conscious and all of the things that we're told we're not allowed to feel as we're walking around trying to have this presentation of ourselves. So there's lots and lots of ways to get you loose. So, and that's my job.
Absolutely. So the other question, maybe the last question, second last question. We are evolving around the world of entrepreneurship. So I wanted to understand from the creative space that you have for people and looking at the nursing school as well. So like, what do you think we can do in regards to like after the classes we have with you? How can someone come up with entrepreneurship mind sort of and such kind of a thing?
Well, I mean, I think that once you have the product, you figure out where it goes. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then how it's utilized, and like what is it used for? You know. So, and again, I think the possibilities are endless. Just storytelling and how, and not just storytelling and not the act of storytelling, but who do you get? Who's your audience? Where does this go? You know what I mean? So it's not just happening in a vacuum. It's happening with some like community activism, and it's a way for, I feel like, the community at large to really look at itself in a new way. You know what I mean? As opposed to just textbooks or just research or whatever. But it's a way to really sort of see it in real time, and I think that will create a line of communication and understanding that doesn't necessarily exist in this same framework, and that's exciting. But we, you know, you let me know. we can figure it out.
Yeah, so the last question maybe, what do you think, or rather, where areas do you think we can partner in regards to what you're doing?
Well, I mean, that's what's great about, you know, the people that are sitting here. You know, like, I mean, if you want to, I always call this concept of partnering the conference room and the conference table, and who you have sitting at the table, and what each person, each aspect brings to the conversation. And you know, again, I keep coming back to, like, I can't figure out it. I can't think of enough ways that where this could go, with business, with technology, with media. You know, with trade, you know, exchange, you know, with universities, with students. I mean, it's like you just keep adding components to the conference table, and the sky's the limit.
Mental health is huge. Mental health is not just affecting media industry, it's affecting even our students. We're just talking about some of the suicides that we've had, which are not many, but is affecting the young men. So mental health is a big thing. Last week we had a conference that was looking at mental health and wellness, and looking at some of the capacities that exist for people to offer mental health services. It's very limiting when you think about our Kenyan context or even African context. We have very few providers who are psychologists or psychotherapists who can offer that service. The other issue is the awareness amongst, you know, people, including media practitioners, and the willingness to look for help, or even the awareness to identify that you actually are suffering from something, there's a problem. And then to be free enough to look for help is also lacking. So we need to create safe spaces, and I think using art or the creative industry, that can be an avenue to create a safe space for people to discuss these things without stigma, and so to help people to be aware that they can look for help, and to be aware that when they're not feeling well, it is okay not to be okay, and that they can be helped. Yeah.